Good evening.
Good evening.
I should say good night. But not yet. A few words. Dear Obon family, with all our wonderful diversity, we're experiencing our fundamental oneness through our sitting, our chanting, our working together, our tears, and our impromptu conversations. Our hearts are filled with the richness of this sacred, spiritual occasion. More people than ever before participated in the complex preparations, from making lanterns to cooking and cleaning, from setting up altars and banners to working outdoors. Obon is a profoundly charged time. A time of mystical reconnection with those whose lives deeply touched our own. At last night's opening fire, when we invited back the spirits of our departed loved ones, everything was very still. But as we chanted the Heart Sutra, Hanya Shingyo, with all our hearts, and as I drew enzos in the air, the stick of incense, a breeze came up, and the leaves began to stir and dance. It's not surprising that around 90 of us have gathered for this Obon. During these past 3.5 years, we have lost so many family members, teachers, friends, and Sangha members throughout the world. We are living in a time of planetary crisis. Most of us have fallen sick with COVID and other illnesses, and some are still experiencing the effects. New strains are coming our way. War continues in Ukraine. Military coups, political hostilities, racism, ill will toward migrants, transphobia, homophobia, the curtailment of women's rights, and the erosion of civil liberties are all happening against a backdrop of horrific wildfires, droughts, and floods around the globe. As the Lotus Sutra says, our house is on fire. This year, we had to keep the doors and windows closed for the first few days of anniversary session due to the unhealthy air quality index from the wildfires in Canada. And now, wildfires are burning in Hawaii, where Shinge Roshi, when he was a young monk called Teisho, lived from 1960 to 1962, helping Robert and Ann Aiken with their small Zendo and attending the University of Hawaii. So-san Marcus Karlstad, who was a resident monastic here for quite a few years, has been living on Maui, where more than 80 people have lost their lives in these fires. More than that. I emailed him right away, and he responded, "Dear Shinge Roshi, thank you for your prayers. I am safe, and the fires did not come to my region. There was a day of very strong winds that blew over trees. However, all the structures, including my home, were spared. There is a gentle rain here today. Sadly, the beautiful historic town of Lahaina is devastated, including the Jodoshin Buddhist mission and historic temples, churches, museums, businesses, and homes. My heart goes out to those who have lost their lives, friends, family, and homes. You are in my loving thoughts as well during this Obon week. I would have liked to attend Gasho So-san." One of those churches was Loyola Church, which had been standing since Lahaina became the capital of the Kingdom of Hawaii in the 1800s. It had just celebrated its 200th anniversary this year. It's been the main location of community meetings and the burial site of early members of the Hawaiian royal family. It's completely gone. Fires were also burning on the Big Island. I emailed Banko, Randy Phillips, and Sayu Natsumi Hara, who many of you remember. They were active members of the Zen Studies Society for so long. And just this past Rohatsu, they had sent us coffee from their plantation on the Big Island. Banko wrote back, "Aloha Shinge Roshi, we are fine and thanks so much for your concern. The level of destruction and loss of life in Maui is heartbreaking. We have been luckier here on the Big Island. Please take care of yourself Mahalo, Banko, and Sayun. These exchanges and so many others come from the unbreakable connection of our practice, just like the brief conversations I've had with several of you over these past days. Brief but deep. We are so fortunate to be here at Dai Bosatsu Zendo for Obon. We need each other. We feel the urgency of our practice. Everywhere we are seeing and feeling the effects of causes and conditions stemming from human greed, anger, and ignorance. We know our interconnected challenges require our interconnected response. Please, if you would like to move, do so. But don't move away. While in Hawaii as a young monk, Shinge Roshi was invited to tea by Dr. D.T. Suzuki, who told him, now, after many years of intellectual interest, the actual practice of Zen in America has started, and I am pleased by this. I will not live much longer, and I am concerned about the future of Zen in America. You are young, and I have heard that you are willing to stay in the United States for good. You know, the Zen monk in these modern times should not only understand classical Buddhist literature, but should also be knowledgeable about current affairs. Don't contain yourself within a Zen shell. These words of Dr. Suzuki had a profound effect on Taisho, and they continue to resonate for us. Facing the current crisis, we may feel overwhelmed. How do we help? We cannot crawl into a Zen shell. We cannot ignore the cries of suffering beings. We cannot succumb to despair and paralysis. So what can we do? There are many ways to be engaged, but it is crucial to train the mind so that our activity comes from the clear vision of our practice. This monastery was built for the training of bodhisattvas. As Soen Nakagawa often said, thus its name, Dai Bosatsu Zendo, Great Bodhisattva Zendo. Training helps us know when to act and when to be still. How often have we jumped into a situation thinking we're being helpful, when in fact it's the ego doing the driving? There's a word for that kind of meddling where I come from, old-time Brooklyn. That word is Batinsky. Don't be a Batinsky. Don't butt in where you're not needed. Keep your 2 cents to yourself. With our upside-down views, as the Heart Sutra puts it, we tend to cling to our opinions, our fears, our judgments, based largely on imprints from negative conditioning. The word obon comes from urabon, which means, anyone know? Hanging upside down. It's not a good feeling. Let our upside down views bring it about day in and day out. In order to actualize our bodhisattva vow, discernment is essential. We have to break out of our self-absorbed bubbles. We can't think our way out. The very posture of Zazen itself is what we can rely on. Sitting upright, not cringing. Oh, I don't know what to do. Not caving in. Oh, I'm so miserable. But expanding the chest. Feel this right now. Expanding the chest, the heart, with mind and body in alignment. Something changes. It's not conceptual. It's physical. Mind, body, one. You're feeling bad? Do something about your body. Elongate your spine. Pull your shoulders back and smile. We begin to question, with this kind of change, our internalized litany of self-blame, worry about others' opinions regarding who we are and how we should be. And gradually, an inner confidence begins to build. Through consistent practice, our hearts open and our minds clear. The real form of the universe is revealed in everything. When we humbly acknowledge our own greed, anger, and folly, we can have the motivation to do the work of transformative change, radically accepting what is difficult, accepting discomfort, and offering up what is restorative. And we find that just as we are, there is nothing lacking. Taking part in the Obon ceremony is a profound way to change the mind from ego-driven to vow-driven. When we see into the truth of this moment, just as it is, our vow can function clearly, naturally, effectively. Just as the way of a bodhisattva is to face upward to receive supreme enlightenment, and downward to save all beings. The significance of Obon goes in both directions too. Examining ourselves and our daily activities, renewing and strengthening our motivation, we receive spiritual sustenance and realize how huge our debt is to this web of life. And realizing this, we give offerings to express our gratitude. We take care of this precious place, now 47 years old, and we offer generous support for its restoration. Gratitude naturally wells up. Gratitude that we have met with the Buddha Dharma, the teachings manifesting at every moment, even when we don't recognize them for what they are, and resist and reject the lessons we need the most. Gratitude for this precious human birth and for all the care and concern we have received from our teachers, our families, our friends, and spiritual guides. From the moment we were born, so much has been done for us. How do we requite such kindness? By continuing our training, lifetime after lifetime, by being present, aware, by living with integrity, loving kindness, and generosity. Gratitude leads to recognition of our responsibility. How do we conduct ourselves? What can each of us do to heal this wounded planet? There are so many little ways, but they all add up. Drive less. Don't fly unless it's essential. Carpool. Take public transportation. Walk to do your errands. You don't have to pay to go to a gym. Walking there and carrying bundles back. Wonderful. Read reputable newspapers and journals. Vote wisely. Consume less. Live simply. Grow vegetables to share with others. Be a bodhisattva activist. There are so many organizations and agencies worthy of our engagement and support. With the motivation that comes from the sensitivity, compassion, and wisdom of our practice, every action can offer solace, can encourage others. We can offer our quiet listening, sitting together, writing, artwork, music, dance, an arrangement of flowers, a nourishing meal, a bowl of tea. It's what we do. The other night, I dreamed that Aiho-san, Ada Roshi's wife, was here. And we have a lantern that she inscribed that was brought by Zensho yesterday. But in my dream, she was here. And she said, "He is in the walls." Indeed, Eido Roshi's spirit is in these walls, in the oak floors, in the halls and the gate, his impossible dream has been realized through generations of sincere Dharma seekers like yourselves, coming here year after year to train, to honor our loved ones at Obon, to support this place, this practice. May all spirits throughout the universe find tranquility. May the world of the living move toward lasting peace. And may our vow to care for and heal Mother Earth be passionate and fierce. In a few moments, we'll carry the lanterns representing the spirits of our mothers, fathers, grandparents, wives, husbands, partners, sons and daughters, siblings, aunts and uncles, cousins, teachers and friends. We will carry them to the pure waters of Beecher Lake, setting them afloat, chanting Namu Dai Bosatsu, uniting with vast Bodhisattva spirit. We will bid them farewell for another year, knowing that our connection endures forever.